It's officially WrestleMania season, the greatest time to be a WWE fan of the entire year. And to celebrate, we're going back to 2019 here on the Watchalong Wrestling YouTube channel. What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watchalong Wrestling, and I'm a wrestling content creator from Long Island, New York. And I am so excited to bring you this series of videos this week here on the channel. We're going to do it exactly how I did this back in 2019. We're going to party like it's 2019, as I'm going to go Tuesday to Monday, the 7 days that I filmed this vlog way back in 2019 as a part of WrestleMania 35 weekend. But before I get into the director's cut here, rewatching this with all of you, with my thoughts on this video some 6 years later, it's crazy, it's been 6 years. I figured I'd give you a little bit of a backstory as to what we're going to watch here, and give you a little backstory as to, I guess, this YouTube channel. I've never really gotten into what this YouTube channel was, what the point of it was, and where it all came to be. So I'll give you a couple minutes on that. I guess for me, I've always been on YouTube. I really just utilized YouTube to document some of my life. Like, if you dig deep and know what you're looking for, you could find some random little clips of YouTube here and there that I put up through the years. And then I'd say right in about 2016, 2017, I started this channel. And this channel, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. For a while, I had it something called the Wrestling Drive, because I had a long commute to my job. It was like 2 hours every day, and I figured, what the heck, I'll sit here and I'll chat wrestling with everyone who's watching on YouTube, and we'll have some fun, and we'll be able to talk. And it was brutal. It was produced terribly. There was like no thumbnails. Each thumbnail was just me driving behind a car. It was like the worst audio you've ever heard in your entire life. It was a train wreck. And I don't think I ever started to take YouTube real serious until Watchalong Wrestling, which is a brand I gave to this channel in 2018. And the thought process behind it was, in 2018, I got married. My wife and I went on our honeymoon, and at one point I couldn't sleep because the time we went to South Africa, and the time difference was kicking my ass. My wife has no problem sleeping whenever. She could sleep all day. She's Sleep Beauty, for crying out loud. But for me, I found myself awake and searching, scouring through YouTube. And a day or two before this, CM Punk had a YouTube fight. And I got a YouTube fight, a UFC fight. And somebody was streaming on YouTube their live commentary of this fight. I don't, for the life of me, remember who this was. But I watched, and I just was like, what a genius idea. Because also at the time, my wife was working an overnight job right when we got married, and she was not really home on the in the evenings. And so what I'd find myself doing is probably what a lot of you all do, which is watch a lot of the WWE Network. Specifically in 2018, 2017, that area, WWE Network was all the rage. It was awesome. It was so much fun. And you could just watch anything at any time. And I found myself just going through these rabbit holes, watching some old school wrestling, and then chatting about what I'd watch with some friends who probably didn't care at all, but they'd listen and humor me, maybe ask a couple questions. And finally, it started to get around that people were like, dude, you should start to really do something with this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's start a podcast. I don't know if it's YouTube or something, but you're super passionate about it. You don't got much else going on with your wife at work every night, so what the heck? You can, a lot worse you could be doing. May as well start something. And so I saw this, and I was just blown away. And I immediately thought, okay, I've got to come up with something where people can tune in with me and watch old wrestling. I could basically invite a bunch of people to join in while I go back and I watch a timely classic wrestling pay-per-view. And I tried it, and that's where the name Watchalong Wrestling came along. I'd jump on the Twitter, and I'd say, hey, I'm going to go watch tonight. I'm streaming King of the Ring 1998. It's the first show I did on the channel, because it was the 20th anniversary, I guess it was, or something. No, I guess it would have been the 20th anniversary when I first started, right, of King of the Ring 1998. So I'd invite everyone to join. Nobody joined. A mothball joined. I think you had a tumbleweed that joined. It was brutal. And now I was sitting there, nobody joining, doing a 3-hour watch along. Very tough, especially for somebody when you're first starting out and people just do not care to watch your stuff. It was rough, and I eventually failed at it. I think I failed, but I think also what had occurred was, like, my wife, after we got married, had put in to try to get a daytime position and got one after a few months. And once she got a daytime position, I wasn't about to tell my wife, hey, you enjoy the evening, I'm going to go sit there and do a watch along of an old wrestling show. I found myself finding it more and more of a chore to do, and I never wanted this to be a a chore. So what I ended up doing was finding myself at home, WrestleMania 34 weekend. My wife and I had booked a flight to go, and then very infamously, my job had basically told me, we approved your time off, but we need you for something, so don't go. And I was far too naive, and I ended up canceling the trip. We did not go to that WrestleMania. It was the first one we had missed together since 29. So we were supposed to go for our 5th straight WrestleMania and couldn't do it. But I was scouring the internet, finding people and seeing their vlogs and different things. And to me, I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to find a way to share my wrestling journeys. My wife and I were going on 2-3 wrestling trips every single year, and I was filming all this content. I wasn't doing anything with it. So I was like, all right, well, at least maybe that's kind of where I can get my niche in this. I can go ahead and share my wrestling journeys, go find cool things like a Superstore, or find cool things like an Access, and share that journey with people who enjoy it. And so I started to do this. We did this actually first time Royal Rumble 2019. I wasn't too sure what I was doing, though, because at the time, a lot of my videos prior to Watchalong Wrestling were like 2-3 minutes. Hey, I'm on this train. Hey, I'm in a car wash. Hey, I'm randomly at some random venue in the middle of Atlanta because it's WrestleMania 27, but I'm not filming any of the show. I'm just walking in the venue. And that's the type of stuff that I would do. And so I was still finding my way. And so I went to the Royal Rumble 2019 in Arizona, had a great time, and we started to put things up. I think I put up like it wasn't exactly a Superstore video, but it was the sights and sounds of the Superstore. And so we'd walk around that. Then we did Royal Rumble Access. Again, it was kind of the sights and sounds of Royal Rumble weekend. I wasn't sure what I was doing just yet. We did like a Broken Skull IPA review, and we found little things to do here and there that were quite entertaining that I enjoyed, and it started to pick up a little bit of momentum. And for momentum, when you're first starting out, is like more than 20 views, right? You just want people to join in on what you're doing. And again, that's why if you're doing this and you're starting out, you've got to really enjoy what you do, because if not, you're really not gonna, if you're hating what you're doing and you're not seeing any sort of return on it, it is going to be a slog. So again, find something you thoroughly enjoy what you do. So for me, now I was in a position, WrestleMania was coming to town, WrestleMania 35, and I knew WrestleMania 35, in a strange way, because I had gotten used to going, New Orleans, California, Texas, Florida in consecutive years. WrestleMania coming to town was kind of disappointing in a way, because while it was cool to have it here, there wasn't that usual trip that came along with WrestleMania, and that came along with my wife's birthday, because my wife's birthday usually fell on WrestleMania week. So it was something we really enjoyed and something we really got to really take in and have a trip for her birthday every year. So WrestleMania coming to town, I figured, all right, I'm going to do what I watched last year. I watched a lot of people vlog their footage, but it was like weeks after the fact. I was like, what if I did this in real time? And people can watch, the Tuesday of WrestleMania. They could watch what I did that week. The Wednesday of WrestleMania, maybe I can go and get some footage of the arena nearby. And then I knew I was going to Access. I knew I'd do an indie show. And suddenly it was like, this became kind of a thing. And it was a lot of fun. And it's really what really got the channel started. So I figured when I was looking to see what I was going to do this year on the channel, I thought, what better way to do this than to go back in time, some 6 years, and rewatch this video. I started this with the 2019 Royal Rumble, so I already had the wheels spinning as to what I'd do. And instead of just showing the vlog, I'll show the vlog, but I'm actually going to watch along with all of you, and I will give my commentary, alternate commentary on the vlog some 6 years later. I have watched this periodically from time to time because I've always been a family videos mark, and at the end of the day, being able to rewatch my experience at a wrestling show is fun. So I think I probably have watched this 3 or 4 times through the 6 years, but not for a while. So I'm very excited to go and check this out and rewatch this with all of you and dive into it. So it's a 7-part series. So we're going to put up one every day here, and we're going to get into it, and hopefully you all will enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit my music, and then on the opposite side, we're going to dive into day 1 of the WrestleMania 35. What a time to be alive! Quoting my main man, Steven. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to rewatch this entire vlog, Tuesday to Monday. Let's have some fun. Let's do this. I'm very excited to jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so here we go. Getting started on the Tuesday of the WrestleMania 35 week. And for me, I had put this out here. I knew we wanted to do a 7-day vlog. I thought anything more than 7 days was going to be overkill. And so what I decided to do was start the filming here on the Tuesday, because I knew that it was going to be my wife's birthday and that we'd be doing some cool stuff for her birthday. And I figured, why not film all of this and have this start. It was really on that Tuesday. I took the day off work and we did a lot for her birthday on this day. So you can see it starts off here on the very first. I'm doing an unboxing of souvenir tickets for the Raw After Wrestlemania that had just arrived. So I was very excited about that. I remember being kind of annoyed that you had to purchase tickets to Raw, and the only option for whatever reason was to get the souvenir ticket, which was like an additional $20 and kind of a waste. But I did mark out big when we got it. And you can see how excited I am moving the different pieces of the tickets there. You can kind of see they had them set up where you'd see the different members of the Raw roster, and then I kind of as you shifted it, I think it was like Braun Strowman doing the big running power slam on the card there. So you can kind of see that not all that much has changed. We're still the same place, same exact wall. I'm on like a bench, but relatively similar setup. And this was one of the cool things here. So you see my wife, and it is her birthday. I think it was the day before her birthday we did all this. And so I want to say, even though it says day one, I think this might have been filmed over 2 days. I'm not too sure, but we'll get to that in a minute. Or I think it's maybe out of sync. But we're all in line here because at the time, Game of Thrones was really big. And they were doing something where they were bringing 6 different Iron Thrones at different locations throughout the world. And for whatever reason, one of those locations was at Fort Totten Park in Queens, New York. And that was not too far from us. And it was like one of these things where if you wanted to go and stand in line to get a photo with this Iron Throne, as my wife is dancing through the tunnel, she's so excited. It was one of these things that you had to wait like all day and all night. And so that's one of the reasons I took off work, was because it was a situation where if you wanted to go and do all of that, you can see here they have like all the little Vikings all set up, all the different types of characters from Game of Thrones. But I knew if we went on a Tuesday, it'd be a lot less of a wait. And even on a Tuesday, in the middle of a work day, this was still like, man, I want to say a 3-hour wait in order to get our photos. I think we got in line around 1 o'clock, right as soon as it opened, and we didn't get our photo till about 4 or 5 o'clock. But my wife was a huge fan, and I think for me, I didn't really watch it at the time, but I think this got me into the show, and I started to go back, watch all the old seasons, kind of leading up to the final season of Game of Thrones, which I thought was okay. I thought certainly the first couple seasons were a lot better. And so you can see they allowed you to sit down and get your photo taken in the Iron Throne. Me, with no shame, just filming these if these people ever want like a video play-by-play, they can come to my channel. And that's also when I started to post photos in my videos. A lot of times because I didn't get the actual footage that would normally come with the actual experience. Recently I did this when my daughter met Jey Uso, but for the longest time I didn't do it. And then you can see my wife got a huge cake. First off, it's awesome. Look at these dragon toys on the top there, the sculptures, the Iron Throne sculpture, which from here went and sat on my desk at work for many years. And on the and it's a double layered cake, and the only people who were here to get the photos with her were myself and her brother. So it's really the three of us that got these photos, and we got our entire deal there. And you can see we're in April. The entire whatever I got her for Valentine's Day is still in the back table up there. It looks like quite the nice little setup that we had, but my wife's pumped up and is all excited to kind of talk through some of her birthday week festivities, because my wife for this year had her first time where she actually had a birthday party planned with some friends, because remember, ever since WrestleMania 30 in 2014, we were away for her birthday, so she didn't really have any of those different pieces. And in the video, I remember my brother-in-law played a bit of the Game of Thrones theme, and then also played CM Punk's music. He, at this stage, is getting ready for his first WrestleMania, so he's just to the moon, pumped up, and excited to kind of take all of that in and be very excited about having his first WrestleMania. So you'll also notice here that my wife's kind of, when she's talking about her stuff, she starts to talk about how she's getting excited for WrestleMania. And I think really her brother's excitement is what got her so excited. I think for her, she was similar in my boat. This would have been our 5th WrestleMania together, my 6th overall. And I think that she was probably feeling like a little like, it's in New York, so not as much of excitement. But we did make an agreement that we were going to put together a plan to make this weekend the most wrestling heavy WrestleMania week ever, because we were so close to town. My wife is doing the original dubs. That's what she's doing. She's holding up her original dubs there. The Watchalong Wrestling dubs have kind of become like the Dudley dubs over the years. But back then, yeah, for whatever reason, we were doing the West Side dubs, which was very early into the channel's incarnation. Here we are in an Uber. Zero shame. Don't do this. I could have waited. Nobody needed an Uber cam. Here I am. I'm not driving. My wife's not driving. We're literally in the back of someone's Uber, and I'm doing. If you're excited for WrestleMania, give me a hell yeah, or I'm doing it. When I say wrestle, y'all say mania. I hope the Uber driver gave me 1 star. How utterly obnoxious of me to be doing this. Again, unnecessary. Or ask, and I doubt I asked. This looks like I didn't ask. This looks like suddenly I'm totally fine with zero shame filming every single thing. When back in the day I had too much shame, didn't film enough. Now I'm just filming everything. And here we are at the Bettlehouse restaurant for my wife's birthday. This was something that was a very cool restaurant. They do have 2 of these locations. One here in New York City, which is a lot smaller, the one we're at here. And there's another one they had in Los Angeles. My wife is showing off her Beetlejuice dress. I have kind of the guy from Beetlejuice who has the big kind of spout. So I had the checkered shirt there. And Edward Scissorhands was the character. They have a different character to join you in the actual restaurant each time. Now, if you go back into the WrestleMania 39 archives, you can see that we went to the other Bettlehouse in LA, and that one's much bigger. They have like an arena, they put on a show, and different characters come out. But I like really the intimate nature of this one. I had the Edward Scissorhands burger, so you can see I have scissors in my burger. And something I love about this is the entire family is included here. That's my wife's mother. My wife's giving the intro. My wife's mother. My wife's father, so my father-in-law. And then her brother, who we had seen a little bit earlier, who was with me in the video filming. And her sister, and her sister's entire family, so her 3 kids, her husband, my mom, and my sister. So we got the whole kit caboodle here together to bring in my wife's birthday. This was so cool, and I just love that we did this as a family all together, and it's just awesome. Like, why are we all together at Bettlehouse? But here we are. There's my wife getting her dessert, and personally, I thought this was a great way to start the week. You got a little bit of everything. You had the Iron Throne, the unboxing of the tickets, and then the Bettlehouse restaurant, and so kind of that horror adjacent type stuff that my wife likes. My wife and I are not huge horror nuts, but still enjoyed all of that. And it made for a really fun first day of the vlog. And we had tons of wrestling content lined up, and it ended up, we had even more massive ideas throughout the week that I'll get into as we get into the minutia of each day. But hopefully you enjoyed the first day of the vlog, kind of reliving a really fun birthday for my wife with the fam together, everybody together, and that's just awesome. I love that, and maybe we could do it now. We'll even have some grandkids, because we have kids now, join along. So lots of fun. In any event, tomorrow we'll be back with day 2, where I go see Mick Foley do some comedy, and then I also go and check out some of the sights and sounds of the Barclays Center. I'll get into a lot of that as to what that meant, why I was doing that, and a whole bunch more. So hopefully you like it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and keep it locked right here all week for more content right here on Watchalong Wrestling. Until next time, I am Tommy on the Spot. I'll catch y'all in the next video.